Shabbat Shalom and welcome everybody to our service. We are coming to you from our beautiful sanctuary. We have some in person and some watching us through the wonders of the internet. We'd like to welcome everybody. I am Rabbi Javier Carapan, and I'm joined by Leslie, Howard, Joel, and our technical team. Lots of people making this possible. Special thanks to our BOW committee, Beyond Our Walls, and to all our digital docents who are managing the streaming. Just a reminder, if you are technically inclined and would like to help, we can put you to work.
Yes, absolutely.
And you can do this on your pajamas, I hear. I don't know, in the middle of summer, it's like your shorts, let's put it that way.
Summer pajamas.
Summer pajamas. Well, in the morning, we need someone for the morning service too,
Yeah.
so. If you're joining us on one of our virtual platforms, you will see information and links in the comments section, and you can also find them in the e-news. If you're using a prayer book with two sets of numbers, we're using the numbers in the square brackets. And if you need any immediate assistance, text 913-303-1134. That's our technical assistance line, and somebody will back to you as soon as possible. Welcome again. If you're joining from home and have candles to light, we invite you to go ahead and light them. And on page 120, join us for the Shabbat candles.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
And Shabbat Shalom, everybody. We continue together on page 130 as we join in singing the opening lines of Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena.
Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Nariya, nariya letzur ishenu, nekad mafana betoda. Nariya, nariya letzur ishenu, mizmirot nariya lo. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai. Lechu neranena, lechu neranena, lechu neranena l'Adonai.
Lechadodi continues now on page 139, actually, because we are going to do that whole page.
Page 139.
No reason other than we can. So 5 through 9.
Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lecha dodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Toreri, toreri, ivore, kumiori, uri, shtaberi, kevon Adonai alayich niklala. La 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 la, lechadodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. Lecha lechadodi, likrat likrat kala, b'nei b'nei Shabbat nekavela. לא תבושי ולא תקלבי, מה תשתוכחי ומה תהמי, בך יחסו עניי עמי, ונבנתה עירתי לה 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 לה. לך דודי לקראת לקראת קלה, בני פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת לקראת קלה, בני פני שבת נקבלה. והיו למשיסה שוסייך, ורחקו כל מבלייך, יסיס עלייך אלוהייך, כספוס חתן על כלה. לה 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 לה. לך דודי לקראת לקראת קלה, בני פני שבת נקבלה.
לך לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. ימין ושמאל תפרוצי, ואת אדוני תעריצי, על יד איש בן פרצי, ונשמחה ונגילה, לה 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 לה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה.
בואי ושלום עצרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני ים סגולה. בואי כלה,
לך לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה, לה 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 לה. לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. לך לך דודי לקראת קלה, פני שבת נקבלה. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light. Night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into dark. Night becomes day, day turns to night. לעולם ועד. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך. והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ובלכתך בדרך ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך,
והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Emet. Join together on page 158.
מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נטע בקודש, מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נטע בקודש. נורא תהילות עושה פלא, נורא תהילות עושה אדוני, ימלוך לעולם ועד. מלכותך ראו בניך, בוקע הים לפני משה ומרים. זה אלינו ואמרו, זה אלינו ואמרו, אדוני, ימלוך לעולם ועד. יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה, יא לה 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 לה. השכיבנו אדוני אלוהינו לשלום, לשלום.
העמידנו שומרנו לחיים, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך, ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך. Shelter us beneath your wings, O Adonai. Guard us from all harmful things, Adonai. Keep us safe throughout the night, till we wake with morning's light. Teach us, God, wrong from right. Amen. 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 השבת, לעשות את השבת לדורותם, ברית עולם ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת שבת ויהי נפש שבת.
Shabbat vayinafash. Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi agi tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah. El Hagadol, Hagibor, Vehanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekone Hakol, Vezucher Chastevot V'imahot, Umevi Gula Livnei Bnehem, Leman Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer Umoshia Umagen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham B'Zrat Sarah. Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai, Mechaye Metim atah Rav Lehoshia, Morit Hatal, Mechalchel Chayim Bechesed, Mechaye Metim Berachamim Rabim, Zohomech Nofelim Verofech Cholim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar, Micha Mocha Bagevurot, Umidom Elach, Melech Memit Umechayeh, Umatzmiach Yeshua, Bnei Manata L'Hachayot Metim, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh HaMetim, Atah Kadosh v'Shimcha Kadosh, U'Kadoshim b'chol yom Yahaleluch Hasela, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Tasim leolam, Shalom Rab טסים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל לך, טסים לעולם. וטוב בעיניך לברך את עמך ישראל, בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. שלום רב ישראל לך, טסים לעולם. שלום רב ישראל לך, טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם. טסים לעולם.
It's time for offering a prayer for healing. For those of you watching us at home, you may access the Misheberach list through the e-news that you received this morning. You can also follow the link in the comments. And of course, if you would like to add other names, please type them in the comments so we can all see them. Please go ahead and begin typing. For those of us here in person, you get an opportunity to offer names as I go around this way. On this side. Thank you. As we think of those in need of healing, on page 371, we join together in the Misheberach prayer.
Of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. With refuah shelema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
It is now time for our Simcha moment. We invite you to share a special simcha, a joy from this past week, which may include birthday, anniversary, good news, and accomplishments of all and any kind. If you are at home and you'd like to type them in the comments, only on Facebook Live you can do that. Just use a few words and press enter. And we are inviting anybody in here in person to come up for the Simcha mic and share a joy from this week. And this is one of our choir microphones. You don't have to touch it or do anything with it. It will pick everything up. But we ask you that you stand on the X and share Simcha with us. And tell us who you are.
Hi, I'm Howard, and I learned from the Roadrunner cartoons you should never stand on the X, Rabbi. But my Simcha is that my sister and brother-in-law have come in from Albany, New York area to join us for services tonight. So welcome to them and to my daughter and grandson. Yay.
Don't forget to tell us who you are.
I don't know.
Who am I today?
We got your back, Carol. Is there anybody here who doesn't know who I am?
Well, maybe I'm wrong. We don't know. We don't know. The date.
Just, there you go. You got it.
I'm short enough it was hitting me in my head. I'm Carol. And last week I told you how much I love swimming, and the swimming is continuing. And I actually allowed myself to miss one night. But earlier this year, I was acting more like a child than an adult, and I learned a big lesson from that. So this year, today, I acted like an adult, and I went to the lab today.
And I have one accomplishment that you may know about this, but most of you don't know. I actually rode my bike from home to Beth Torah on Sunday on my day off, just because, back and forth. It takes about an hour each way, so that was fun. In 90-plus weather.
Some people call it a simcha, some people call it madness.
But it was nice to come all the way to work on Sunday just to say I was here. And then I left. And I took a picture and I sent it to Leslie.
Did you Uber home, Rabbi?
Huh?
Did you Uber home?
Creed says, who's going to bring you back? He was out of town, so it's like, I thought, here, hi from Beth Torah.
You do what the rest of us do. You walk over to Sharon's house and say, please help.
That's true. Thank you, Sharon. But no, on the trail, it was all mostly on the trails.
Oh,
so it
that's
was
exciting.
fun. And some parts of the trail, if you go on this, the creek that is nearby, it's all shaded. So that was not all of it, but most of it. Then it was close to your house. I'd say hi.
Oh, excellent.
But I didn't go see you. Well, you were busy mowing the yard.
I was doing yard work. I was also outside.
That's quite an accomplishment in 90-plus
It
weather.
was.
I went to Menorah, but my car took me to St. Luke's by mistake.
Those cars are tricky. They have a mind of their own.
So it has been our tradition now for a few months, I wouldn't say years, that we mark the first Shabbat of the new Hebrew month with a special blessing. And today is actually the first day of the Hebrew month of Av. And it is a joy to welcome a new month, although in the Jewish calendar, the month of Av has a very sad day, which is Tisha B'Av, the 9th of Av, that remembers the destruction of the first and second temple. But it's still an opportunity all other days in Av to be thankful. And the blessing is found on page 379. יהי רצון מלפניך, אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו ואמותינו, שתחדש עלינו את החודש הבא לטובה ולברכה. Our God and God of our ancestors, may the new moon bring us goodness and blessing. May we have long life, peace, and prosperity, a life exalted by love of Torah in reverence for the divine, a life in which the longing of our hearts are fulfilled for good. Rosh Chodesh yeh beyom Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh Av, which is today.
Yes.
So the new moon of Av is today, and it begins a new month. Now we gather all the simchas, welcome a new month, and all our accomplishments, and offer a special prayer. Divine source of blessings, we thank you for everything that enriches our lives. We turn to you now with gratitude as we share the happiness of those who have marked their birthday, anniversary, good news, and accomplishments. Adonai, be with them now and always. May they be blessed with the strength to overcome sickness and sorrow, and with much health and happiness now and always. As we honor each one of you for the gifts that you bring to our sacred community, together we join in songs to mark this sacred occasion.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה. ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהחיינו וקיימנו והגיענו לזמן הזה.
Amen. They move there, so there's a bigger audience that way. And the tomatoes. So the global pandemic that we just lived through really brought serious illness and death to so many around the world, and it's still doing it. And it really ignited the debate about how much each one of us is responsible for our own health and for the health of others, both at home and in public spaces. We have acquired new knowledge about masks, breathing aerosols, physical distancing, and hand washing. Even my Apple Watch tells me how to wash my hands and for how long. We will never forget these last 16 months. And I know very well that masks and vaccines have become a political issue. However, it is not necessarily so. My approach is based on the Torah and its commentaries and not on American individualism. If you think that's political, so be it. But I think it's really a religious matter, and it speaks about our divinely inspired teachings. The Jewish tradition has been thinking about the risks that we take with our own bodies and health, as well as how we can potentially put others into danger for more than 2,000 years. Everything in the Jewish tradition is at least 2,000 years, if not longer. So what does the Jewish tradition teach about staying healthy and being a responsible member of the community? The great scholar and halachic thinker, David Golinkin, a rabbi who I had the pleasure to meet back in 1994 in Jerusalem, where he lives, has written many tshuvot, rabbinic responses on the issues of health, from smoking to chemical plants to vaccination. Rabbi Golinkin makes an excellent observation about the intersection of our health and our faith when he writes, quote, "There are people, Jews and non-Jews alike, who believe that God will protect them and not let them get sick," end quote. It is a reasonable conclusion to make. I'm serious. If God is in control of the world and we are part of creation, then people of faith should be protected from all harm. So let's just take a moment to look at it from the perspective of a person of faith. And I'm going to look at a group of people who nobody doubts that were people of faith. These are the ancient rabbis who were certainly people of faith and would have never denied that God is capable of great miracles and has the power to save us all. However, in the Talmud, there's this famous teaching that says, a miracle does not happen every day. A miracle does not happen every day. In another section of the Talmud, in the tractate Kiddushin, they relate the story of a man who climbed up a ladder in order to fulfill the mitzvah of Shiluach Haken. If you're not familiar with this mitzvah, let me tell you, it's the mitzvah of sending away the mother bird before taking the nestlings. It's in the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22. It's an actual mitzvah. I haven't had the opportunity to perform it, but apparently this gentleman was doing it. So this poor man was trying to do a mitzvah, and he almost got killed. One wonders, what kind of God is ours that allows this nice man to just fall off the ladder? Well, the Talmud adds a few more details that will help us clarify what's going on. The rabbi suggests that the ladder was shaky, and thus its damage was established and well known. And, quote, wherever the damage is established, one does not rely on miracles. Wherever the damage is established, one does not rely on miracles. In other words, this man went up on a ladder that he knew was in bad shape, perhaps hoping that God would intercede and save him on account of the mitzvah that he was performing, to which the rabbis replied, one does not rely on miracles, because miracles do not happen every day. By the way, the rabbis did not believe in good or bad luck, but that everything comes from God. And Rabbi Golenkin explains, quote, similarly, the damage from COVID-19 is established and well known, and one does not rely on miracles. As Rabbi Yanai ruled, a person should never stand in a place of danger saying that they will perform a miracle for him, lest they do not perform a miracle for him. Therefore, it is forbidden to rely on miracles, and one must be vaccinated as soon as possible. So here's the first point to remember, that our willingness to be vaccinated is an acknowledgement of our responsibility to take care of our own body and health instead of relying on God to do it for us. We were given this body and this life, and we are responsible to keep it healthy. And that is a mitzvah, a religious obligation stemming directly from the Torah. I may be preaching to the choir here, but maybe not. Because staying healthy is a lifelong project with its ups and downs, and we all struggle with it sometimes. I don't know about you, but I could always do better, eat healthier, exercise more, ride my bike more times to Beth Torah, not just that time, reduce the level of stress in my life, wear a mask in some circumstances, and keep up with my immunizations. But that is not the whole story. Judaism also teaches that we must avoid harming others, that we should not put others in danger. And this mitzvah extends to the kahal, to the Jewish community. So as a community, we are responsible to create an environment where people are not put in danger. It is a very simple question then. According to the Jewish tradition, to halakha, is it permissible to force people to get vaccinated? Let you a minute to think about it. You can think in your head, no, yes, no. There are only two answers, right? No or yes. I'm not going to take do a survey on this today. A poll. Now, before I answer the question, let me say that the Jewish law is different from the legal systems here in America and even in Israel. Jewish law, halakha, is not the law of the state of Israel. And I am trying to answer this question from a religious Jewish perspective. Some of you might be thinking, is it permissible to force people? Forced? What is he talking about? This is America. We cannot force anyone to do anything. Well, I've got news for you. There is plenty of forcing out there. Think traffic laws and also some of the requirements, especially the mask requirements when you're flying. According to the American legal system, they can force you to wear a mask. Similarly, the question before us is, what does Jewish religious law say about vaccinations? And we return now to Rabbi Golenkin, who teaches the following, quote, I have already ruled in my responsum on smoking, against smoking, that it is forbidden to smoke in a public place, based on the concept of, and I'm sure you're all familiar, but I'll explain it to you, gerei delay, meaning his arrows. That's the principle. This is all Jewish law, trust me. It uses Hebrew all the time. So his arrows. In this case, of a highly contagious disease such as COVID-19, a person's breath is similar to an arrow which is capable of killing others. And we saw that in the US election, and many of the rallies, and of course in large Israeli weddings in 2020. Therefore, a Jew must wear a mask and must be vaccinated so as not harm to others. As Tosafot, which are 11th century commentators, emphasized, a person should be more careful not to harm others than not to be harmed. Again, this goes against probably most of the things that we think of in America as being the kind of cultural norm. But this is Judaism. A person should be more careful not to harm others than not to be harmed. So here's the second point, that we should be vaccinated on account of not representing a danger to others. That is, of course, not how most of us see it. For instance, I myself got vaccinated so that I could be protected from COVID when visiting people at healthcare facilities or officiating at a funeral. I thought that was my Jewish obligation to preserve my life. And it is to a certain extent, but now I can see that being vaccinated is also expressing my religious obligation of not causing harm to others. In general, we think that it's not a good idea to throw arrows left and right and force people. We force people not to use their arrows, the bow and arrows, inside. That's common knowledge if you don't know, right? Likewise, we should not smoke or disperse our potentially harmful exhalations onto other people. So yes, according to the Jewish tradition, we can ban smoking inside our buildings and could require people to be vaccinated against COVID in order to participate in Jewish life. Now, do not rush to conclusions, please. We are not currently requiring proof of vaccination for anyone here at Beth Torah. I am sharing the Jewish perspective with you because I think that we all play a role in achieving the coveted herd immunity, which will protect those who are vaccinated, but also those who could not be vaccinated for health reasons. Being vaccinated is not the end of the story for our community or for our country. If you are able to be vaccinated and have done so, you have fulfilled half of what's required from us by the Torah. Like everything else in Judaism, there is always a communal aspect. I want you to have the tools to be an agent of change in our own community. Here in Johnson County, about 50% of the population is fully vaccinated. Great, but there's work in engaging the other 50%. That is now the task, to convince, to try to persuade the other 50%. And that's something that just because we are vaccinated, we are not done. If you are, or you put yourself in a situation where you can influence unvaccinated people, here are two things you can keep in mind from a Jewish perspective, which is the only one that I can provide you. Otherwise, watch news, read other things, but here's the Jewish perspective. Two things to remember. Number one does not rely on miracles. We need to be vaccinated because it is our religious obligation to take care of our own health. In particular, if there is a highly effective way to prevent getting infected, as it is the case with the COVID vaccines. And number two, a person should be more careful not to harm others than not to be harmed. It is our religious obligation to avoid harming others. And vaccination prevents transmission, and therefore it diminishes greatly the risk of passing on the virus to others. Indeed, You heard this many times. We are called to do the work of tikkun olam, repairing the world, which we often understand as working for righteousness in our society. But perhaps today, inspired by how the Jewish tradition approaches individual and communal health, we should also become advocates for COVID vaccines. It is a sure way to do tikkun olam, a sure way of bringing about a better world for us all, a sure way of doing a concrete something to repair the world. And perhaps it's a good beginning, one human body at a time. Have a Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Our service will continue on page 586 with Aleinu Leshabeach, and we begin on 586, and then immediately after that we go to page 591. If you're able, we invite you to stand.
עלינו לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמזבחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ונאמר והיה אדוני
למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. Page 595, we join together in the meditation number 7. Yesh kochavim, they are stars, up above, so far away we only see their light, long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways that we remember. If you're joining us on our streaming platforms and are remembering a loved one on this Friday, on this Shabbat, we invite you to type their names and click enter. As a congregation, we remember the following yortzites of members of our congregation: Dean Baer, Rita Berenbaum, Sue Blankman, Ben M. Cooper, Herschel Golub, Maria Cruz Gutierrez, Fanny Hurwitz, Norman Bernard Joseph, Catherine King, Hyman Crown, Edith Markowitz, Virginia Mitchell, Estelle Mueller, Catherine J. O'Brien, Eloise Pepper, Joan Gallant Paul D., Janet Rosenblum, Florence Samuelson, Mel Sains, Albert Schoenwetter, Maxine Stark, Susie Stovall, Lucille Ellen Frankel Weiland, Vladimir Zaslavsky. Zichronam livracha, may the memories be for a blessing. We rise as a congregation, if you're able, to recite Kaddish Yatom, the Mourner's Kaddish, on page 598. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה, ויעלמה דברה חירותה וימליך מלכותה, בחייכון ובימיכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל, בעגלה ובזמן קריב, ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה, יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו, לאלה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דא אמירם בעלמה ואמרו אמן. יהי שלמה רבה מן שמיה, וחיים עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן. You may be seated.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו ועל כל ישראל ואמרו אמן.
It is now time for some announcements, and I would like to invite Aviva Simons, our Director of Member Engagement, for it. Aviva, welcome.
Toda Rabbah, thank you to tonight's worship team, Rabbi Katapan, Leslie Zucker, Howard Pittler, and Joel Critchever, and also our technical team in the back and at home, Dave Zucker, Paula Fremerman, and Michael Fine. Join us for Sichat Shabbat, our Shabbat conversation, tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock a.m. This is our first multi-access Sichat Shabbat. We look forward to coming together physically at Beth Torah in the Seder and Shimkin Chapel/Library and virtually on Zoom. The Zoom link can be found in this week's e-news. Following Sichat Shabbat, join us at 10:30 a.m. for our second multi-access Shabbat morning service. We look forward to coming together physically at Beth Torah in the sanctuary and virtually. We will then virtually conclude Shabbat with our friends from Bnei Yehuda during our summer Kehila concert. The concert will be live streamed on Bnei Yehuda's Facebook page and Vimeo. I'm excited. During the week of Tu B'Av, the Israeli equivalent of Valentine's Day, I apologize. I am on different places here. Join Rabbi Kleinman this Sunday at Meadowbrook Park for incoming kindergartners and first graders. It will be a wonderful opportunity to meet friends and learn about our next year at the Weiner Religious School. I apologize. Now join us for our blood drive on Wednesday, July 21st. This is the week of Tu B'Av, which is the Israeli equivalent of Valentine's Day. So it will be a wonderful opportunity to spread some love and some blood. The Community Blood Center of Greater Kansas City is experiencing a significant blood shortage. So through our drive, we can help them alleviate this need. And also, Calvary Temple Baptist Church's rededication will take place on Sunday, July 25th. Join us for this Simcha at Calvary and hear Rabbi Katapan's special greetings. We have a Google form so that we can all know who from Beth Torah is joining us. So those of us in person here at Beth Torah, there is a QR code. Look how fancy we are. During the Oneg, you can scan your phone and register through there. And everyone at home, Michael is posting the link right this moment for everyone at home to register. So please let us know if you are planning to join us. And lastly, join us in the Ulam following our closing song for a special to-go oneg to go or oneg to schmooze. I am honored to sponsor tonight's to-go neg in honor of 2 whole months of to-go neg. Shabbat Shalom.
We conclude our time together singing the closing lines of Adon Olam. They can be found on page 625 or on our screen. And if you're able, stand and join us so you can sing louder.
Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Deyado afi drupi me'eti share'ahira. Vehi bruchi tevi'ati. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira. Adonai li velo ira.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody.
Take care of each other out there.